It depends where you're watching this live session from. If you don't know me, my name is Ash. Usually Brian jump on this call. Some of the time you might have seen me here as well. And here I'm again today talking about what we do here on Monday morning, 8:30 sharp. Um, well, the purpose of this call is always to hear the founder's growth journey who are the part of Expert DOJO portfolio. And then most of the time in the audience, like people who are emerging entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs who want to know more about how you can grow early stage company as an early stage company. There are investors watching this session from all over the world as well. So you never know what kind of audience is watching this in the back end. The purpose of this call is to kind of like make everyone aware how exactly as an early stage company you can grow your startup at a super exponential rate. A little bit about Expert DOJO if you're watching it for the first time. Expert DOJO is an early stage accelerator and a venture capital firm based out in Santa Monica, and we have invested all over the world. We have portfolio around 300 companies, globally. And then now we are also expanding and opening our office for the first time ever outside Santa Monica in India. So we are launching our India dedicated fund, India dedicated office for, and going to back a lot of Indian founders there as well. But at the same time, we'll continue investing in a lot of, companies the way we have been doing. So we are on Fund 3, early stage pre-seed and seed, companies that we look for all the time. Usually we put 50K as a check and then we reinvest up to $1 million afterwards as well. That's our thesis. So if you're early stage founder watching this session, you are more than welcome to apply for the investment as well. If you think that you are the right fit for the Expedito portfolio, we are sector agnostic as I mentioned. Without further ado, what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to invite one of the founder that we're going to talk about today. The founder is an Indian founder based in India, but building something like 500, disrupting a 500 billion plus industry. We'll talk about that journey in a few minutes from now. But I have like a few quick updates. The reason why Brian didn't join this call is basically he's in Malta right now. And what he's doing in Malta, he met the prime minister there, literally. He was like keynote speaker in one of the conference and he met the prime minister. We are going to do a lot of thing in collaboration with the government of Malta as well. We're going to host a big conference at some point, maybe next year. So wait for all those big announcement that is in the pipeline. You'll hear all those stuff if you're following our newsletter and following our like story all the time. You'll definitely see we do amazing things all the time, like some crazy set. um, why I'm not in Santa Monica today? Because last time you might have seen in this call, I was in Santa Monica, but I came to India. The reason why, we are opening up our India office, as I mentioned earlier, and then we are building a team of people here. So we are opening up our office in Bangalore. Brian is coming end of the year or maybe early January as well, when we're gonna like have a launch party. So if you are someone watching it from India, hit me up. We can talk. We can collaborate. There's multiple ways we can work together as well. If you're a VC watching it, deal flow is definitely one way. If you're founders watching it, of course, apply or let's talk about your ideas and stuff that you are working on. So Expert Dojo expanding to India. We are doing a lot of three in the Web3 and crypto space in general as well. That's why Brian is in Malta talking about with the and collaborating with the government, doing conference. So the purpose of all this thing is at the same time, we are not stopping it here as well. Next week is going to be a very crazy week at Expert Dojo. The reason we are shooting a TV show. So we are going to build something like a TV show with a couple of our founders' journey. Like we're gonna broadcast their founders' journey, like their struggle and everything, how they're going, our best performing companies, and then we're gonna kind of like get that up on any of those OTT platform which is out there in the market. Like I'm not gonna name it, but just wait and watch. So we are recording the TV show, talking about their growth. So everything that happens at Expeditors is always about the growth, right? Fourth, we can also write a book and get it published, because we have met with a lot of amazing growth hackers, amazing founders all the time. So we have like literally have enough resources to pull it all together and to talk about just how you can build a unicorn using all the growth strategy and stuff. So wait for the book announcement as well at some point. So fourth thing I talked about today, Expertoso is opening in India. Brian is in Malta. We're going to do a big conference in Malta or maybe at some point somewhere in Europe. We are recording a TV show and we are writing a book. The reason four things is very important, the four pillars of Expertoso in a way right now going forward, is because we are going to build our domain dominance. So the purpose of domain dominance, I don't know. I know Brian is keep always talking about building domain dominance is very important and stuff. The reason why it's very important to build the domain dominance at early stage company or a VC or a later stage company is like you need to be regarded as a thought leader in the industry. Whether people are treating who are the people who are your competitors and stuff, they are treating you as your thought leader or not. So we are building our domain dominance by expanding to India, by going to Malta, by recording a TV show, and by doing like writing a books and getting published, talking about all and everything growth. What's your domain dominance strategy? Reach out, drop your domain dominance strategies, how you can build the domain dominance in your specific domain in the comments. I would love to know about your strategies as well. I have like literally three giveaways how you can do it from my perspective as an early stage startup. Like what I have seen so far at Expert DOJO is like, build something around the customer loves side, so that customer will love your product and stuff. So put the customer in the center, and that's the thing that and revolve everything around that. Second one could be like have some strategic partnership like built in, or go to the conference, collaborate with the conference host maybe, or collaborate with other people and then speak there. Let people talk about your product. Like the reason why Brian is like nobody has ever known Expedoza in Malta. People knows in general, but now since Brian was a keynote speaker, and then we had like a lot of like we met with like Brian met with the Prime Minister of Malta as well and other folks too. Now a lot of people keep talking about Expedoza there, and we're gonna host a big conference. That's another way. Like some strategic partnership is always gonna help you. That's the second giveaway from my side. And third one would be like build a scalable growth engine, or and that can be done by having a growth loop in, like by doing your SEO, content marketing. There's a bunch of ways where you can build a growth engine. Just go and search about how you can build a growth engine in a specific domain that you are having your companies in. And together, using these strategies, there's like you can definitely go and then build a domain dominance in your specific domain. It's very important as a early stage companies because that's how you're gonna regard it. Your competition should always talk about you, who you are, and what you exactly you are doing in your specific domain, and then that's going to help you from all the different perspective. It will drive a lot of deal flows to you from the customer perspective. It will drive a lot of collaboration perspective, collaboration and strategic partnership perspective. And then VCs and investor, if you're raising at early stage, they will reach out to you. Hey, I saw you're building something amazing, can we talk? So there are ways, and the purpose of everything is like to grow. So keep growing, keep hustling. Without further ado, I'm gonna bring an amazing portfolio company. Joshua is the founder of the Hobby Tribe, and Hobby Tribe is like literally disrupting a 500 billion plus industry, like finding your hobby tribe. So I'm not gonna talk and make you guys feel more bored about my city ideas and strategies. I'm gonna pull up our amazing portfolio founder, Joshua. Hey,
Hey,
Joshua.
what's up? How are
What's up,
you?
man? How are you doing?
Doing really well. Thank you for having me.
Likewise, like thanks for accepting our invitation to be on the show. But you know before I introduce yourself, as I mentioned, Joshua is the founder of uh, the Hobby Tribe. Amazing founder. I know we started having conversation a couple of months back, and since then, like, I keep touching base all the time, mostly on the weekly basis. Hey, Joshua, what's up?
That's
How's
right.
the company doing? I recently was on the investor update call. I think like last Friday or Saturday, maybe over the weekend.
Saturday, it was on Saturday.
It was
Yeah.
amazing, man. Like the way you guys are
Thank you.
growing and doing things, like it's out of the world.
Thank
So
you.
I'm not gonna make other people feel bored about my talk. I'll let you talk now. So why don't you just like give a 1 minute introduction, what exactly Hobby Tribe is, and before doing that, like also introduce yourself to the world.
Yeah, hey guys. Hi, my name is Joshua, and the media calls me the hobby man of India majorly, and I'm not overinflating myself. The reason they call me the hobby man of India is because I play multiple instruments. I sing, I dance, I act, I do all of that stuff, and I have a deep knowledge about the industry. And that's what I think, the media just caught on to it and said, hey, you're kind of like the hobby man. I was like, hey, I love the ring of it. Why not just stick with it? And that's where, the hobby man came in. But what we're building in Hobby Tribe is something really important that I feel in this new generation, which is so important, right? That is coming back to your love of pursuing your hobbies. What we're doing is we are organizing an unorganized $502 billion hobby market. Now, even though I know it sounds like a big amount, did you know 90% of the world's population has at least one hobby? Ash, that means 7.2 billion people in this world have at least one hobby, but they're still figuring out the best way to pursue it, right? And Hobby Tribe is doing that. We are enabling them to pursue it for free, building a vibrant community around it, and then upselling to them hobby courses and accessories and stuff. So, from your interest journey to the end of your hobby life cycle, you get to pursue everything on one platform. That is the Hobby Tribe. So, that's Hobby Tribe for you guys.
Wow. So, Mr. Hobbyman, first of all, you're looking at your appearance, like it is still like self-explanatory in a way. You're so funky. You're always like you said, you're dancing. You love singing and doing all this shit. Like I love the energy. Like keep it
Thank
up.
you. Thank you.
So and again, like hobby tribe is like I'm so busy all the time. Like I don't know if you know my story or not, but my email is always like inundated, 100 plus WhatsApp and stuff. I have no fucking time for my hobby. And I don't know, like at some point, the way I started, like when I was in my high school or maybe in my college days, like my hobby was something different. But probably now, my hobby is like it's been immersed and changed. So I know like what you guys are doing at Hobby Tribes, like you explore your hobbies. Like if you have like multiple options to explore your hobbies and then kind of like pursue if you like it or pass like pass
That's true.
or continue and stuff like that. So
That's right.
what's your story? Why did you start? Like I know you are the hobby man in India, but then why you thought of like solving a problem in the like disrupting a kind of like age old orthodox industry where people even not don't talk about like in general your target market is India, by the way, right? For
For
the time
now, it is India, but we are going to, yeah, but we are going to scale it globally. But for now, yes, it will just be in
so
India.
let's talk about India and Indian like the mentality, like the culturally, if you see, like if you don't go to tier one cities, probably like people are not even talking about hobbies at all because like
That's
we are
right.
so brain wired. Like, hey, if you're born boy, jump in an engineering river. If you're born girl, jump in a medical river, which is blowing, right?
True.
So like people are like study, do the shit, get hustle. But nobody talks about hobby. And why
That's
you
right.
thought of studying the hobby tribe? What's your story? Tell me more about it.
I love that. And something that a lot of people do not know, my punishment if I didn't study well in my school was my parents didn't let me perform on stage.
Oh,
That was literally my punishment, right? And it ate me inside. But the real truth really happened when I started teaching the guitar and keyboard for pocket money at home. And I slowly realized that a lot of people are really interested in pursuing their hobbies, right? But they didn't really know what to do, where to go, etc. I'll tell you, for example, one of my friend, he really wanted to learn the guitar. He saw me playing the guitar, right? So what he did was he said, "Josh, I really want to play the guitar. Can I borrow my friend's guitar?" He takes his guitar, and the first thing he does is goes to YouTube. That's what everybody does, right? When you have a hobby, you go to YouTube because you want to do it for free. And I realized after that, the next time he comes to me and says, "Hey, Josh, where do I go to buy a guitar?" Right? Now, I told him you can go to this store and buy a guitar from there. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay, that sort of makes sense." Made him buy the guitar there. He bought it. Now he has the guitar in his hand. He was really dejected later on. He was telling me, but I don't know what to do next now. I have the guitar in my hand, but there's Udemy, Coursera, Skillshare, so many options to choose from. What do I do? I said, okay, I understand your problem. Go to Skillshare, you get a class there, you can get it done there. He's excited, he takes the class, he does it. And then lastly, he goes on to wanting to buy really, online or offline classes again. He comes to me and says, "Hey, can you teach me? Or do you know anyone who teaches?" Now I realize this pattern is for everybody, right? Everybody, not only my friend Tim, but everybody else goes through the same problem of trying to figure out what's the next steps when they have their hobby. And
yeah,
that's where Hobby Tribe came in. I realized, what if we create one platform that sort of, rather than me being the one constantly telling people every journey, build a platform that self explains what's next and how to go and move on in your hobby journey. And that's where Hobby Tribe was originally born, right? That was when I realized that, people are really interested in pursuing your hobbies, do not know what to do. And if we can create a platform that sort of navigates and helps them navigate through this hobby journey, we can get them at their point of need. And that was where Hobby Tribe was born. So I called my friend, my who's now my co-founder. His brother was one of my first customers, by the way. His brother's learning piano from me, and I knew this guy was a techie. And for all my Indian friends out there, if you sell to a Sindhi, you can sell to the world, right? So my co-founder was Cindy, and whenever I used to increase the price of classes, he used to come and tell me, Josh, I think the pricing is too much. I think you could cut the price down a bit. That's when I realized what pricing sort of works for what price sensitiveness. And I took the leap and I told him, hey, I'm planning on building a website. And I knew he was a techie. And he was like, yeah, I would love to build a website for you because even he was just coming out of college. So I was like, fantastic. So he's like, but bro, I can get my friend who's way better than me at coding. I was like, buddy, you get the whole world if you have to. I have no money to pay you. He's like, bro, it's okay. It's a great college project. We can all do together. Long story short, after this conversation, we went to McDonald's and created the first prototype of what Hobby Trap was supposed to be. And the rest is history. And here we are.
Wow, this is such an amazing story. And then people who are watching outside India, like Sindhis, which Josh mentioned, they are the part of the community. We are very frugal. They make time, like
True.
they take time to make any decision when it comes to finances. So,
That's
like,
true.
if you literally sell to them, or you can sell to anywhere in the world. So that's a
That
cool
is true.
story. And then, in general, like, so the hobby tribe help you navigate your entire journey, and then help you pursue what exactly you wanna, like, you have a hobby in your back of your mind and you always wanted to pursue in a way. And it's
True.
self-explanatory, as you mentioned. So it's like you jump on the platform and then, like, start from one thing. The platform will tell you where to go next. The platform will tell you, hey, this is the wrong direction, go here and go here and
Right.
stuff. And then that's where you emerge. And then honestly, like, hobby is so important. Like,
That's
we,
true.
we always keep talking about at Expert DOJO about your mindset, your peak performance, and the peak performance, the mindset, and everything comes to a place when you have, like, a hobby in back of your mind that you are
True.
pursuing to keep your productivity alive as well at the same time, right? Because everything
True.
is connected in a way. Like, people don't take that part seriously, but it's very important, honestly speaking, right? So, talk about your growth journey, like Josh. Like, I heard in the last investor call again, like, that you're organically growing. You're not spending a single dime on marketing at all, and then you
That's
got
right.
like 150% plus organic growth on the user side, and
That's
then
true.
I think on the revenue side as well is probably like 70 or 80% more, right? Like, so talk me more
Correct.
about your growth thing, and then how exactly you are. What's your GTM status? Like, how you are tapping into the market when you're not spending pennies on the marketing.
Yeah, I love that question, Ash. And I think it boils down to the fact of what I believe as a founder. When you're on your early stage in the startup, I believe you got to figure out a way you can get your first initial customers without spending money. Because that is when you can actually test the market and see how you can organically get people in, right? So, which is why I'm a huge proponent of that fact. And what we did was, I remember Brian once came and told me regarding how we need to grow and what is the metric we need to be at. There was one call, I still won't forget it, but Brian really gave me like a hard on, you have to do this. If this doesn't work out, I don't think this is going, your company's not going to grow. That, that time with him, right? It was a cutthroat story, sort of made me go to my drawing board, write everything down again to what Hobby Tribe became today. And now, because of that, you're seeing like the 70% growth in revenue, the 150% growth in organic users on the platform. And this sort of helped me change my mindset. You know how Expert Dojo talks about the growth mindset constantly. And I realized that do or die, try and figure out ways you can keep growing. So the way we, target the GTM was identifying who my customer really was. I knew early on that my customers were adults. I wanted to make sure people like you and me were pursuing their hobbies, not kids. Because kids, anyways, pursue their hobbies. It's easy to get them to pursue. The real
Hey,
challenge
I
for
want to be
me,
kid again,
use the hobby type platform, you become a kid again.
That's
Well,
a great selling point. That's what you are helping people make your kid
that's true.
alive, even though it doesn't matter what age group you are into, right? Like, keep your kids,
Facts,
sit alive all the time. I don't
facts,
want to
facts.
interrupt, but that's a great selling point for you.
Yeah, so that's what I sort of realized. I realized a lot of my early customers were all adults. So I realized, okay, I want to make sure that I want adults. Now, where are the adults? They're in corporate offices. Okay, how do I make corporate offices sort of use my platform? I can't just go to the HR and tell them, hey, just let your employees use our platform. So I had to
Mhm.
come up with another idea. I realized corporates in India spend so much money on yoga, Zumba, fitness. It's so outdated at this point. They're so bored of doing the same yoga, Zumba, fitness, and they're paying absurd amounts of money. I cut that budget by half and told them I'm willing to do this at half that price if only you give our platform for free to the employees while we give you offline engagement for your employees so your employees can purchase singing, dancing, acting in your offices. They were like, dang, if you're able to do that, nothing like it. I said, hey, but only if you let our platform be accessible to your employees. And when they said that, right, I was like, superb, let's do this. Without me knowing, we silently created, solved an unthought of problem for the HRs as well, where we
Yeah.
increased engagement rates for the corporate offices by 67%, reduced their employee engagement cost by 30%, and helped HR standardize their employee engagement pan India. Not only that, their employees have been loving the platform so much that they are telling their HRs that we've never had a platform like this that really helps us engage with our hobbies, help us reduce our stress for just spending 2 minutes on the platform and pursuing dancing. That became the true testament for us of knowing that if these employees are able to pursue the hobbies and if they're so busy and yet they carve out time to make time for their hobbies, when the platform goes out live to the public, they would love it. So right now it's on a closed beta only with corporate employees, and they are freaking loving it. Ash, you saw it in the call. I showed you
Yeah,
all of
absolutely.
what the
And
testimonials were happening there.
I love the whole user journey and the platform UI UX is very seamless, honestly speaking. So we'll go to the question in a bit, but before I have like a couple of thoughts, by the way. So you mentioned like corporates are spending, you know, thousands of dollars just to have a yoga as one of their, kind of like a yoga tribe where
Right.
employees are forced to take the yoga class. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
corporates having, meditation and wellness kind of sessions and stuff, and just there is one session, like probably like I'm not the guy who's gonna go and do the meditation, but I am honestly on the other side. But I'm saying in general, out loud on employees' perspective, not everyone is interested in yoga, not everyone is interested in meditation. What
True.
you are doing, Josh, is like the diversification side of all this thing. Like you're diversifying the entire hobby thing, where an employer has a lot of options where they can keep the hey, you are not now going to like we are not going to force you to take the yoga class as a
Correct.
mandatory thing. You are maybe like at some point you might collaborate with the schools, like especially in the US side, they have all the side up sessions where they do like, hey, there's a yoga mandatory class that you need to take if you want to have your mental health, because people talk a lot about mental health in the US, right?
That's
So
right.
wellness class and all this stuff. But then what you are doing, Josh, is like is beyond pursuing your hobby. Is helping people mentally well all the time. Like like honestly, you are improving their mental health as well in a way. So there are a lot of scopes. Like the best thing that I like right now about your beta is like you are diversifying the whole hobby thing rather than just relying on one thing that you need to pursue. So that's
That's
a good
true.
thing. And I had another thought, which I forgot. It happens. So I'm like now thinking about hobby in back of my mind. So let's bring up the questions like someone just asked about. Hey, what strategies like are you using to attract and retain user with niche or uncommon hobbies? Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, I love that question. So, so what we're doing right now on the Hobby Tribe platform is at this point we have sort of 20 of the top hobbies that we know are working in the market, and we've done a lot of research and analysis to understand what the top hobbies that are out there. And for now, we are only focusing on that. The others we are keeping them on waitlist, and we know what hobby they have. So if that's not part of our offering as of yet, at the back we do realize what hobbies are there. So the moment we see a lot of demand coming for that particular hobby, we then start adding those as well. So the way we're attracting them and retaining them, they're getting to see other people in that niche hobby that they couldn't have done before, where they're getting to do the challenges and activities based on their hobbies together with their own community, with their friends. That sort of gives them enough incentive to keep coming. And also, we've partnered with both speakers, Nika, Alexa, Google Home, so they get prizes as well for being the most active participant on the platform, and that is sort of how we keep people engaged, and which is one of our moats as well. When it comes to the experts that do the live workshops on our platform, we get them at the best possible rates because we are sort of doing this at a larger scale where the same teachers are working in schools and corporates and B2C everywhere that we have diversified the thing for. So that's sort of how we do it. We have the best of the best experts giving the classes for free on the platform, best of the best challenges and activities you can do. You can connect with like-minded people, and that's what attracts and retains. Because see, when you pursue a hobby, you want to do it with your friends. You don't want to do it alone, right? So that is sort of what we've taken from it and building a community together with that. I hope that
and
answers
and
your question.
and also like sometimes you want to do it with a friend, but sometimes you want to meet new people in that tribe
True,
specifically. And then
true.
it reminded me one of my story, like back in the days when I was like in my undergrad school. I was
Hmm.
like, I really literally wanted to do the public speaking as a hobby kind of thing that I want to pursue. And I don't know if
Yeah.
you know or not, but then there's a big community for the public speakers called Toastmaster International, and they
Yes.
have community all over the world. And what they do is like you have your tribe for public speaker at one place where you
Okay.
can like do the sit, play with your stuff, play with your strategies, how you can like be a great public speaker. And then I found my tribe there. Honestly, it helps so much. Whenever I go to any new city, you know what? The first thing that I used to do,
What?
Toastmaster International, find nearest Toastmaster club because every city has
Nice.
like pretty much 5, 10 clubs all over, and they have
Correct.
a recurring meeting happening all of the time, like on its
That's right.
every days
Hmm.
in the week at some point in one of the club. So
Hmm.
that helped me to find my tribe all over the place where I went, back in the days. But now I don't have
Right.
time, so I don't do it anymore. But then imagine, like same platform having a digital presence, like
Right.
whenever I'm traveling, I'm free in my hotel room. I can just find my tribe and hey, what's up,
And
guys?
just do it. That's
Hobby,
true.
and you're meeting a stranger. You're making new friends. So it's like beyond the friendship zone that you are trying to that you just mentioned. It's like beyond that. Like you're meeting new people, and you never know. Like never underestimate the power of relationship. That's my learning in my life. Because you never
True.
know at what point at one relationship that you build might convert in different directions altogether. Most of the time,
Very
you're a
true.
founder. Like you never know when you meet your co-founder in what tribe. So keep pursuing the hobby. And the one thing
That's
that I
true.
really liked about Josh, what you mentioned a couple of in the last point, when I was asking about your GTM strategies, you're so clear with your numbers. You mentioned 30% of employee does that, 20% of them spending this much money, like we are reducing their 50% of whatever the numbers are. Being a founder, people who are watching, this is for you guys. Being a founder, you need to know your numbers and what Josh just did. And before you joining Josh, I mentioned to them like how you can build the domain dominance. You can build the domain dominance by having data as your growth strategies.
Correct.
Data speaks louder than words. If you
That's
use
true.
data in your conversation all the time, people trust you more. And it's not just about trusting, it signifies that you know this set better than anyone else out there in the market, right? Because
Right.
that's how things works. So to have a data as a strategy in your growth funnel or the growth engine that you are trying to build to dominate the world. So on that note, what are the stuff that you are doing, Josh, to build your domain dominance?
Well, I feel, see, when it comes to, I feel a very strong thing of personal branding is very important. I think even Branch doing the same thing as of now, as the head honcho of Expert Dojo. I feel the same way, when people are starting startups now, personal branding has become such an important factor because that not only ties into see, I believe startup is a non-living thing, right? The founder brings the startup to life through the personality that goes through the startup, and then the startup comes to life, right? So that's why I believe personal branding comes into very importantly, which is why I'm so hard in getting hobby man as the thing that people know me as. When they look at it, they'll be like, okay, hobbies means hobby tribe and Josh. So that's kind of what I'm kind of going for. But at the same time, like you said, numbers, that's so important because um, another thing is, like you said, it brings a lot of trust factor to the table because people then realize that you've really done the deep digging of understanding your customer in a deeper manner. And you're not just throwing out ideas and thoughts out. You've actually done the hard work of going through, speaking to customers, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and then you get the numbers out. So I feel that is sort of where the domain dominance comes in. And also, I feel constantly being up to date within your domain. So if I'm into hobbies, I make it a point to start reading about different hobby theories of things that help with hobbies so that tomorrow when someone's talking to me, I'd be able to get a position where I have the upper knowledge in terms of my domain expertise that people can trust me then knowing that, okay, if he's talking about hobbies, he's not only running a hobby company, but he also knows every nitty gritty about the hobby, community, about the hobby market. And that is where I'd like to be. So that helps me as well pitch my case towards investors or hiring the right employee in the company, showing them that I have a clear vision of where I want Hobby Tribe to be because of the knowledge that I have gained about the hobby. So that's what I would say to answer your
No, you
question.
you exactly hit the nails, honestly. The 2 points that you bring it up, like I'll talk about the personal branding in a bit, but then you mentioned that what domain you are in. You need to know that domain like no one else knows about, right?
Correct.
Let's say if I'm the VC side, I should know where the industry trend is going, what market is emerging, what are other VC firm is investing in what kind of companies and stuff like that, which market economy is doing well, better and all that. When I
True.
was a founder before, I don't know if you know my story. I come from the founder side as well.
Oh, I
So,
didn't know that.
so I have lived that founder's life as well. I know how hard it is. So hats off to all the founders who are building the set all the time. More power to you. But to your point, like I was having a cement e-commerce business back in the days. I
Okay.
was knowing I have no background in cement at all. I studied computer science. I studied finance management set
Nice.
construction building materials was not something that I was like I ever thought of doing. But then when I was pursuing my company back in the days when I was building it, I believe like I knew every upcoming news in the cement, which company is getting acquired, which company is having their demand fixed, which company is fixing their supply, how we can disrupt it. So everything about cement, I was like, okay, how much carbon emission is coming out of like at what capacity of the cement and stuff
That's
like that.
right.
I did so deep research that people were talking to me about, okay, wow, okay, I cannot just like deal with this guy anymore. He knows all the shit. So nobody can bullshit you if you know what exactly you're
Correct.
doing. So I think,
Correct.
and then maybe like, hey, more. I'm wishing you all the best to be the hobby man of India. We have the
Let's
mountain
go.
man, we have like all the hill man kind of all this shit. But I think the next big thing is like being the hobby man of India, and then you can never know. Like you can build the domain dominance by having your own TV show at some point, or maybe
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
or maybe there should be a documentary or a movie on you how you can be the hobby man of India, right? And
Of
stuff like that.
keeping up with the
So
hobby
people
man.
from the Bollywood and Hollywood, keep your eye on the emerging star right here on the show.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's
It
the
would be
thing.
a great startup movie.
That's the amazing thing. Of course, like you can make an amazing hustle bustle story about a founder from somewhere in Mumbai become the hobby man of India and then the hobby man of the world. There are ways that you can deal
That'd be
with.
awesome. Yeah, that's true.
Talking about the other point that you mentioned, personal branding, it's very important. And you mentioned Brian is doing all the time. I am doing all the time. You are doing all the time. So what brand you are building, your brand should talk with what who you are and how
That's
you
true.
can identify yourself
True.
related to your brand specifically. So each and every employees are brand in its own way related to the main umbrella brand in a way. So I always insist our people that hey, go talk about Expert DOJO. Comment on the people if you're on social media. Because your accent speaks more than anyone else. Honestly, it's always related to your brand. Like people will judge you. Like if I'm talking about hobby with you, I should be all the time. If it's, I'll be finding one loophole that you make a mistake, and then I'll be like backfiring and stuff like that. So that's a different story. But what my point is, like personal branding is very important, and you can build by having a strong social media presence, going to the conference, going to the networking event. Like try to speak there, be the keynote speaker and stuff like that. There are multiple ways that you can build your domain dominance by having your strong personal branding as a strategy at the same time. Because if you are improving your personal brand, technically, psychologically, you are also improving your company brand as well. The people who are checking
True.
out on you, they always scroll down on LinkedIn and check what company you work with, right? And go and check the
True.
companies all the time. What's your one strategy for the people who are watching us, like the early stage founder, how they can build their personal brand, like if they're starting up their company today?
Yeah, I mean, I've recently started getting a lot into Instagram Reels. I'm not very good at shooting videos, but I'm good at script writing. So, I've really had a friend who's really helping me out with Instagram. I think that's a very good way to reach out to an audience that sort of can look up to you at the industry that you're trying to be at. That's one very important way that I've been seeing that's working a lot. Another thing is really going and starting to speak in colleges and in events where you can go and talk on stage. And I feel that's one of the biggest ways you can show people that you know what you're talking about. You have the industry knowledge, which is why you're now standing on stage and speaking to people. I feel optics plays a very important role when it comes to being a founder. because there's nobody else who knows what you're building better than yourself. So I believe that if people know and perceive you as somebody who knows about the market a lot, you end up building that trust to other people that, hey, you got to follow this brand because this guy knows what he's doing. So I would say for all the upcoming founders out there, I know it is difficult for people who are very shy of being on camera or being out there in public. Guys, the world is changing. It's not like how it was before. To
Yeah.
be noticed, to be seen right now, you have to be in front of the camera. You have to be there. But hey, if you are struggling with something like that and you want help, I would love to help you out. If you do need, you can just comment here or shoot me a DM. I would love to, give you some small basic stuff of how you can sort of, really nail being on the camera or speaking. I would just say that, Ash. That's what
No,
helped me. I think
that's
that could help
that's
them as
an
well.
amazing point. People are like, at some point, if you're going to be a CEO or a founder of your company, honestly, just be prepared to be on camera all the time.
That's
you
right.
know and you need to, and it's all start from the day one. Like, you build your culture, you build the stuff from day zero, honestly. So just start getting out there, speak out loud about thing that you're building on camera. And once you're getting comfortable with being on the camera, honestly, sky's the limit. because
That's true.
because now we are shifting from Gen Z to Gen Alpha and all this stuff. Like, people stop texting, like they record the video and send it and stuff. Like, things are changing drastically. So it's not the same age old school strategy that working well. Instagram and all the social media is like working more for Gen Z nobody uses Facebook anymore these days.
Yeah.
So see this paradigm shift that is happening in the market. So exactly, that's a great strategy. And honestly, the domain dominance that we keep talking about, like personal branding, is a part of domain dominance, and then being on the camera, another part of the domain dominance and stuff like that, right? So that's how you can just like lead this whole industry. And again, if you are what you mentioned, Josh, like go to the school, go to the colleges, like all this incubator in the school, the entrepreneurship cell, they keep hosting event all the time. They invite
That's
people who
true.
are doing a really amazing job. And then if you
Right.
are talking about your stuff on the stage in front of the camera, honestly, again, the purpose of building the domain dominance is like, let your competitor talk about it. Let people think
Right.
about it. You are the thought leader. You are the people who know. You are the person who knows the shit about that industry. Enough of domain dominance. Let's talk about you more, Josh, again. So people are also again coming from different, demography, different part of the industry who's watching our show. Like, people are growth expert, folks watching our founders, folks watching our maybe investor as well. So we
I
talked
like
about
the
your,
sound of that.
yeah, you talked about your growth journey. You talked about how you build your company. What's your vision for the company going forward in, let's say, 2 years or 5 years down the line? I'm not going to say 5 years down the line. It's not an interview question at all. But maybe like 5 years down the line, where do you see Hobby Tribe going? And then how much you raised so far? Is the round open? Like, people who wanna invest their money in, how they can like, is the round open, or when are you planning to? Let's talk about everything fundraising a little bit, because
Let's
it's
do
going to
it.
be recorded as well. And then feel free to use this content afterwards as well for you building your
Yeah.
domain dominance again. Keep that in mind. So let's talk about everything fundraising and where the companies you envision being the founder going.
Yeah, Ash, I want to say that our what we envision from the demand side, that is people being the platform, to be the one platform that every and anybody can think of when they think of hobby. The moment you think transportation, you open up Uber. The moment you think of delivery, you think of Swiggy. The moment you think of hobbies, it has to be Hobby Tribe. That is the goal and that is the dream. And from the supply side, we want to make sure that Indians around the world, or even in India for to begin with, are able to create a career path doing what they love in terms of being a singer, dancer, actor, and making a living doing that. Because like you said, in India, if you're a boy, they'll say go to engineering, or if you're a girl, be into doctors or all that stuff. So when you tell them I want to be a singer or a dancer, they'll be like, boss, who will get married to you? If you're like a singer, right?
Hey,
And
you
we,
know what, Josh? You
yeah.
you you are disrupting the whole industry in a really different way. People are not saying that thing, but I see it right now. Parents is going to hate you for that, but I'm telling you, you will be worshipped as a god by the next generation, because you
Oh
help
my god.
someone to kind of like, okay, pursue the dream, following and pursuing their hobby rather than just like following the blowing river, jumping in engineering. I'm nothing. I'm engineer, by the way, so it's nothing
Same.
against
Even
like.
I'm an engineer. Both of us
So it's
engineers.
like I'm telling you, it's nothing against like education system, but
That's
what I'm
true.
saying, what you are doing is like a next level set. Parents is gonna hate you for that, but the future generation, man, heads up to them.
But Ash, I'll tell you one thing. I feel as the company grows, right, parents would also see the value that now whoever wants to be a singer would be backed by a company that employs these kind of people in the company now. So how every engineer want to go to
I
I
agree with that. And why? Our parents, if I say, hey, I'm going to pursue my hobby rather than going for engineering school, they're gonna hate me for that. But when we become the parents, let's say, will not hate that set. So what you were saying,
True,
parents will love it, but then gradually the upcoming parents who had the same
true,
struggle, you know,
right,
like you cannot
correct.
explain our millennial or
Yeah,
our
yeah, yeah.
parents like talking about hobbies and pursuing it, especially in India. Outside India, it's like a different world. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so that is the whole idea. I sort of want to make this a platform where people can feel proud about being a singer, dancer, actor, knowing that Hobby Tribe is employing them, where they can create structural jobs, where we can give them insurance as well in terms of knowing that they are fully well, taken care of at Hobby Tribe. And that's the
Yeah.
goal, right? In
Hmm.
one end, you are enabling people to pursue their hobbies. On the other end, you're providing millions of job opportunities for people who want to make a livelihood being a hobbyist, right? So that is the long term goal. And again, what I like to say after every investor pitch is, hey, do you want to be a reason for a billion smiles? Invest into Hobby Tribe and let's make this a reality. So, investors, if you're looking, there is a space right here. We have just $100,000 left to raise in this round. We've closed most of the round for this time. So if you guys want to put in something to make sure that you're the reason for a billion smiles happening across the world, I mean, reach out to me or Ash, and we'd love to talk to you guys and see how we can make it happen. Or else you can wait for the next round that's coming up very soon. But yeah, that's what I would say. That's what I would love to tell you
Yeah,
guys.
and then we believe in the philosophy bringing like billions of smile at at one place, honestly, and that was the reason why Expert also invested in the Hobby Tribe. So we are with you since the beginning, and will
Thank
be
you.
there forever as well at the same time. So honestly, like I'm inviting all the investors watching this show today, like reach out to portfolio at Expert Dojo, reach out to Ash at expertdojo.com, or talking about, hey, connect me with Josh, like, or we can drop your email in the comment as well, and then reach out to uh, Josh directly if you're watching as an investor. So this is a great thing. Um, like as a round open and think the round we're gonna close as well. I think how long you gonna race for? Like the round is closing in what time? Like do you have the time?
We'd be closing. Yeah, we're trying to close everything by the mid of October. Latest, we can pull it to the end of, mid of November. Latest, we can close
Okay.
it is end of November. So, yeah, if you
But then
guys,
you are disrupting $1 billion industry, honestly. So the round will keep coming up. So
that's true.
don't worry about it if you're not part of this round. Be part of the growth journey in the future as well. But see, what's happening talking about the hobby, you're getting some fans, not just the fan, but also people. As I mentioned, like growth experts are watching this show, founders are watching this show, investors are watching this show all the time. Like it's recorded, so maybe in the future someone will reach out as well. But like someone called Pius Porwell said, hey, it's great connecting here, you guys. Looking forward to how we can assist Hobby Tribe on a journey. Look, so you have like someone on the growth side, or maybe investor. I don't know who POC is, but maybe someone who is watching this show is trying to reach out to you. So feel free to connect. Reach
Yes,
out
for
to
sure, for
Josh
sure.
and then have a conversation about everything Hobby Tribe. So, Josh, I think we touched base on pretty much everything. What's your two giveaways, if I have to ask, that you wanna say to the people, especially on the founder side or emerging, like like these that I'm like shocked. I came to India after a year, and I'm shocked the kind of things which changed. Like on every single street, if you go out, people are talking about ideas. People are talking about. I've seen people watching Shark Tank in the mobile phone while
On the
they're
phones.
traveling in metro or train and stuff like that. So it's crazy. The whole Indian
Yeah.
economy is like the whole Indian startup ecosystem is going in a different direction right now. A lot of people are pursuing a startup as a career. rather than
That's true.
going for a corporate setup and stuff like that. So it's already emerging there. But again, someone who's just starting their company for the first time ever, what's the two recommendation that you have, if I have to ask you, that you want to say that, hey, don't repeat these mistakes which I did personally, being, like you've been into this entrepreneur journey for a while. So what's your recommendation for the early stage upcoming founders?
Yeah, I would say early stages, don't feel shy of pivoting or trying to reevaluate what you're creating. Hobby Tribe went through a lot of changes till it became to where it is today. And I feel a lot of the founders believe that the first iteration, if it doesn't work out, then the company is gone bust. But that's a lie. So, if you're struggling through your journey right now, dig deep, get some scoldings from people who are older than you, who know what they've done, so that you'd be able to sort of figure out and navigate where you have to be. Number two, and this is not sponsored, reach out to Expert Dojo, and do put in your pitch there. If you do get through there, their team is really patient in terms of listening to your pitch at least and grilling you on your questions. So even how good you can be for the next time. So if you guys are looking to raise funds, it's a no-brainer. Hit up Expert Dojo and see their courses and stuff is really really good. But at the same time, like I said, number one, don't be shy for pivoting. And number two, knowledge is your best friend. So I also have learned a lot on my journey as I was growing. See, you don't have to know everything to begin with, but if you do not keep learning as you grow, you're slowly dying. So those would be my two takeaways. Keep learning and pivoting is not bad. So yeah, those are the two things I
I
would like to
love
say.
it. Like since I'm coming from founder side, so I know what you mean. And also now I'm seeing the people all the time here on the other side of being on the other side of the table as well. So pivoting is like people were seeing it. Pivoting is not about like you're changing the direction of the company. It's like you're making your company and preparing it for the better all the time. So pivoting
Right,
is like going back to the whiteboard. Is not just about like, hey, I pivoted the stuff. No, you're making the company better. You're building something which your customer is going to love it more. So build like a lovable product, and then as you mentioned, like if you're in early stage, just like this very well. Like first 3 years in general, it's all about pivoting, doing testing multiple
correct,
things all the time, and see what
correct,
works, what doesn't work, right? So at Expert DOJO, as you mentioned again, like as Josh mentioned, it's not a sponsor, but we do that shit. We have tasted on our real companies all the time. So we keep saying to our companies all the time, hey, there are three horizons. Everyone is chasing North Star all the time. You are chasing North Star. Your North Star could be like an IPO or maybe an acquisition. We are chasing North Star. We are looking for unicorns all the time, like your founders like yourself, right? So everyone is chasing North Star, and North Star is right here. And then we divided the whole journey in three horizons: Horizon One, Horizon Two, and Horizon Three. Horizon One is all about pivoting, all about testing new things, all about making things changing. Do not do the system and process. Think about it in the back of your mind. But then Horizon 3, the first 3 to 4 years is all about like getting stuff done. Find your product market fit in Horizon.
right,
And when you find hit the product market fit, which is called PMF, very common in the venture world, then you slightly move to the Horizon 2. And then Horizon 2 is all about building system, process, optimizing things, making your product scalable so that you can expand well. I think now where you are heading, Josh, is like you are crossing, you're very close to crossing the Horizon 1 path and
right,
get Horizon 2. So it's time for you to prepare for a system driven, a process driven organization gradually. Honestly, that's what we did at Expodoja as well. And then
right,
Horizon 3 is all about, honestly, scale. And then in Horizon 3, people usually in Horizon 1 are like not really helpful anyways, because they don't, their experience is different from what you're doing. So your company will be
that's
like
right.
1,000 plus organization at some point as well. So
Yeah,
do not even be as skeptical of not pivoting. Pivot as much as you can in the early stage
correct,
when you are building the stuff. That's the time where you taste. If you hit the PMF, it's hard to pivot. It's hard to make things change. So
correct.
great recommendation. And then at Expert Dojo, as you mentioned, Josh, I don't know. I know you. We invested in you back then. Our program was a little different. Now we evolved as well when we moved from Horizon One to Horizon Two. Now we, after 50K investment, we run the company through a detailed audit program. So Brian and I jump on the call. We do the audit on your seven major thing that is much must have thing being an early stage company. It's going to be
Mm,
helpful for you as well, like outbound, your conversion, your domain dominance as a strategy, your system process, your investment proficiency, your mindset, peak performance. We identify where you're lagging, and we have a growth experts on the other side. We match make as a blind there. We help from internally as well, and then we score it. Then we calculate the probable IRR. We compare that probable IRR with your CAGR, and then we see how far, or how off trajectory you are, how on trajectory you are. So these are the thing, like honestly, and why I'm saying all this thing right now on this call is because it's everything. What I'm saying is all data. What's your
Right.
what's your IRR? What's your CAGR? How we can make it better? So data is thing like speaks louder than everything else. So if you make your company as a data-driven company again and involve the data as a part of your growth engine, you're gonna keep growing. Honestly,
Correct.
enough of talking. Let's do one thing. If you are really interested in knowing more about Hobby Tribe, reach out to us as I mentioned earlier as well, or reach out to Josh. Josh, why don't you speak out loud your email as well? Like, what exactly your email is?
Yeah, it is just Joshua, Joshua, Joshua at the rate thehobbytribe.com.
It's very
Or you
easy.
can just send me that.
Exactly. And then we will feature it out on our platform as well. People anywhere in the future, if they'll be interested in knowing more about Hobby Tribe at any capacity, our team will introduce them to you. And people who are watching this show again, will be back again next week, same time, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. Most likely Brian will be there. If not, then I'll jump on easily. Always feel the void when Brian is not there. But then hey, keep doing what you're doing. People are watching. Hustle hard. That's how you can grow as a real estate company. And then we'll be back again with a new story, new company next week, same time, right here on LinkedIn, on all the different channels as well. And Joshua and Josh, whatever. I keep saying Josh all the time.
You just say what you want.
Hey, you did an amazing job. And
Thank
honestly,
you.
what you are doing is like I'm now more excited about the hobby. I need to like think about, okay, I'll go through introspection at some point, thinking, what exactly my hobby is right now. Maybe my hobby is now talking to amazing founders like yourself, because like that's how help us to survive, like being surrounded by highly energetic founders all the time. Honestly, that could be one of my hobby that I never knew, right? So
Well,
I'm be part of that kind of tribe. So hey, whatever you're building as the hobby tribe is like you are building next big like disrupting the big industry like nobody ever thought
thank
of.
you.
So be the hobby man, help people find their hobby and keep doing what exactly you're doing. We'll touch base again. Thanks for coming up again, and then for the people, we'll come back next week, next same time, right here on LinkedIn, on different platforms as well.